So, hi everybody, I'm Robin Retallick of the Law of Attraction Club, and this is an introduction to, it's the introduction we use for our longer session, which we hold on Saturdays with Q&A, into which you're welcome to come and bring your questions. And as I said, this is the introduction one, which we normally do a week ahead of the main event, and it's a chance to get you familiar with what's coming up and give you a chance to plan to be there. So today's topic is an interesting one because it's the subject of young children, and it's a topic that really cuts to the heart of what it is that we're on about here. What is the nature of who we are and this thing? And it really, as I said, trips up many people, but we hope you'll get your hands around it here because it's all, as they say, logical and understandable. Okay, so here we go. Okay. If there's one subject that seems to trip many people up in their understanding of the law of attraction, it's the subject of very young children. If we all create our reality by our choices, how can it be that young children get born into famine or disaster or into illness? If you really don't understand the nature of things, none of all of this, the law of attraction, conscious creation, all of these things we talk about, none of it really makes any sense at all. So let's start with why it's important to understand the truth of it. Then next we'll get to that truth, the nature of things. And we will not ask you to take a leap of faith, and we will not ask you to suspend logic, because it is all logical and understandable. And then we'll get to babies and grown-ups and animals and plants and the price of eggs, and you'll see how it all fits together. And lastly, as always, we'll talk about how to use that knowledge to step more and more powerfully into your role as a creator with some tips and some techniques. So why is it important to understand? Well, in one sense, it isn't. All you really need to know is that you create your reality from what you choose to believe, and that nothing is more important than feeling good. And then here you are in this space-time fantasy, getting caught up in the movie that you yourself are creating, caught up to the extent that you develop some really strong habits of creating what you don't want. Now, changing habits isn't an easy task when you've been practicing them for a while and when mostly you never surface them into consciousness. You've stored them away over time and they just sit in the background as the screenplay for your life on Earth. Well, here's what we've observed, that it really helps if you have the confidence that comes from being able to make sense of it, because you can step back and see everything in context. For most of you, it's just easier when you understand it. So now, what is this truth? The explanation might seem radical to you, but it's actually elegantly simple. Despite appearances, there is not one world out there you all share. For as long as you see it as one world, you will tie yourself up in pretzels trying to make sense of it, and you will not succeed. There is you, one of many versions, inhabiting the matching version of your world, one of many versions, which by law of attraction intersects with one matching version, one of many, of everyone else's world. Yes, we know it looks like one flowing, continuous, shared world. That's the miracle of this space-time illusion. And yes, those other versions of you in the world also exist simultaneously in a parallel universe. You may not be aware of those other versions because the shape of the consciousness you have chosen focuses on only one. But every time you make a new belief choice, you literally step into a different version of you and your world. And in that new world, you intersect with new versions of everybody and everything that match your new tapestry of expectations. So, do babies create their own reality? Yes, Every adult, every baby, every individual consciousness creates its own reality. What you are certain about shows up. What you think is probable mostly happens. What you know is possible but improbable will happen occasionally. What you know is impossible will never happen. All that is part of your expectation tapestry. Your chosen beliefs determine which version of everything you encounter. Nothing in your world exists as something out there that needs to be understood and explained. It's all an inside job. The definition of everything is inside of you. That is why we capitalize the words your world, because it is yours, unique to you, and you are creating it second by second. Every time you catch yourself pondering why things are the way they are, the answer is that you have chosen them to be that way. There is nothing and nobody but you making choices about your world. In that tapestry of yours, do you believe that some children are born into disaster or illness? If no, then in your world there will be none of it. If yes, then in your world such things will happen. Will they happen to you or someone close to you? That depends on where your vibrational set point is. If you are living in fear and uncertainty, then perhaps yes. Everything that intersects with you is a match to you. As this one says, even as there is a flat Earth society for those that believe the world is flat, one day there will be a one world society for those that still believe in one shared physical reality. We know how radical this sounds to many of you, but we encourage you to reach some comprehension of it. If it is too difficult at first to imagine multiples of everything, just understand the concept. Then, for the first time, you will be playing the game while holding all the puzzle pieces, and you will start to see what a difference this can make. In our longer session, we'll be ending with that all-important next step, translating this into some routines that will help you to make new choices, choices that will change your world and bring more joy into your life. And of course, we will answer your questions. We are in eager anticipation of our intersections with you. Okay, so that's it. A discussion next Saturday. Come along. All about who you are and what you are, and tackling some of the really thorny questions that, for the most part, the established religions and religious thought of the day often trip themselves up over. And it's all about this concept of one world versus many worlds. And when you get it, once you get it, even if you just understand it in the concept level, everything changes. Everything gets flipped on its head, but for the first time, as they said, you're playing a puzzle with all the pieces. It makes a huge difference. So we'll put up some links here in this YouTube video or Google event, and we invite you to click the links if you want to come join us, come be a part of our community. And of course, one of the things in this community that we do, one of the things I think that sets us apart, is that we made a decision way back, not just to answer questions and sort of be, okay, go out there and do your thing, but to really engage with you, recognizing that some of these habits take a long time to change. So we offer some programs that you really can get some practice at making habit changes. Changing those habits of thought, stepping into a new world makes all the difference in the world. So thanks. Come visit us.